Welcome to Same Spit, Different Face TV. Well, my opinions is facts, and if you don't like my opinions, you can start your own podcast. And it's free. So don't forget to spit on the like button, the subscribe button, and the notification. If you clicked on this video to hear about Gunna lawyer crashing out on Young Thug, I need you to hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button. Now, Spit Squad. Gunna lawyer Steve Sadal, man, he came with the sneak diss in the day. And so basically, to add context, we know Gunna took a plea. We know that Gunna ended up saying, yes, ma'am. We know it was caught on video. We know he admitted to YSL being a gang. That's one. Two, we know Young Thug sat in jail for about 30 months while Gunna got out of jail after about 8 months after saying, yo, the gun in the car not mine. After saying YSL is a gang. And even though he took an Alfred plea. But let's jump into what his lawyers say, and then I'll give y'all more of my thoughts on it. His lawyers, and then Young Thug put out a song where he said, I don't talk to no rats. And so now Gunna lawyer hopped out here, and honestly, he did two things, right? If you my lawyer, I don't want you to speak unless don't speak for me unless I tell you to speak for me. So what I'm gonna have to assume is if Gunna's lawyer is speaking up, somebody on Gunna team or Gunna reach out and said, yo, I need you to get out here. It's starting back up again. He about to drop this song. This song finna be talking about rats. I want you to make sure that you say that I'm not a rat, so we can try to kill some of this narrative before it even starts. Because the conversation, who is Thug talking about? Who is Thug talking about? Well, now the conversation is, did Gunna snitch or didn't Gunna snitch? And now it's 50-50 opposed to it just being about him, about Gunna allegedly ratting, which I think Gunna said he was a street dude. I think Gunna said that, he was a part of the Crips. So to me, if Gunna gave up some information, which admitting guilt. And so this is what people don't understand, right? If you admit to your guilt, even though it's an alpha plea and even though they didn't call you to the stand, even though they said it can't be used, in my personal opinion, the only reason the state didn't use Gunna is because they thought they had enough witnesses. They thought they had everything that was a slam dunk and it was going to be out the way. And if they wouldn't have wrote in Gunna deal that they wouldn't call him to the stand, they would have definitely called Gunna to the stand. But his lawyer worked it out where he can. But let me tell you what his lawyer said. I was Gunna attorney, but I am not speaking on his behalf. This long post is solely set out the truth. Gunna did not cooperate and said nothing to cause harm to Thug's case. He spent 8 months in jail and was released. In December 2022, after entering an Alfred plea, Gunna's plea could not and was not used at Thug's trial, and he was never even named as a witness. He received a 5-year suspended sentence with no reporting, no travel restrictions, no living restrictions, and no probation over the last 2 years. For media reports, he has performed all over the world, achieved international fame and recognition, and earned millions of dollars. Thug went to trial and eventually pled guilty in a no-lo after spending 30 months in jail, receiving 15 months of probation with reporting conditions, and is not even allowed to live in Atlanta. Those that have and continue to badmouth Gunna, get over it. Enough said. Now, this is what I want to point out before I read, because he made two statements. This is the first one. So let me break this one down. Everything he said at the front, cap, right? He definitely, and when I say cap, I'm not talking about the alpha plea. I'm not talking about the things that we can prove. We know Gunna only spent 8 months in jail. We know Gunna wasn't called as a witness. But we also know that when Gunna accepted the plea, they read the lines out and Gunna said, yo, yes, ma'am, this, that. I ain't even got to go through it no more. I went through that in the beginning. But the part where I say this him speaking out is cap, right? He's upset that Brian Steele is getting all of this love. Like, if you look at it, Brian Steele, basically Young Thug got found guilty, but because it's a RICO case and people understand how hard it is to beat RICO cases and how the state said they had 100 witnesses and this case took over a year for it to be resolved and all of that, people feel like it's a win. Like, yo, he was facing life in jail and he walked away scot-free after serving 30 months and he only have to do 15 years probation. Everybody feel like that's a win for Young Thug, and they praising Brian Steele. Gunna's lawyer is like, yo, y'all praising Brian Steele. I'm the real winner here. I'm the one who got my client off, and my client didn't have to do no time. My client don't have to report. He's an international superstar. He can travel wherever he want. Like, that's basically him saying, yo, y'all giving the wrong guy credit. Look at me, look at me, look what I did for Gunna. And so, in my personal opinion, he shouldn't have even addressed this, because Gunna ain't been addressing none of the things that's been said about him. He just been letting everybody say what they want to say. He just been going on with his life. So in my personal opinion, for him to address this, it only makes Gunna look worse, and it just reminds nigga, and it tear up the fan base, right? Everybody left thinking like, oh, Thug gonna work with Gunna. Thug said the only person he want to talk to is Gunna and his brother. Now, obviously, I told y'all in older videos, listen, man, Thug don't want to talk to that man. Only reason he's saying he wanna communicate with him in case they have to communicate about business, because Gunna is on YSL. One thing Gunna tried to do while Young Thug was in jail was Gunna tried to force his way off of YSL. But Young Thug was like, nah, bro, that ain't happening. We still getting to this bread. And I think one of the real reasons Gunna didn't force his way off of YSL, because he got some good counsel. And whoever his PR was, or whoever the record exec was, they sat him down and said, look, Gunna, you can get off Young Thug's record label, but with all the snitch allegations going around now, and the white guy probably said, listen, I don't care about the snitching. I understand you did what you had to do for you. But if you get off of his record label, people are no longer going to speculate if you did what you did. People are just going to flat out say, well, why did he leave Thug's record label while Thug down? Oh, him and Thug must have fell out. So that's why I think Gunna stayed on the record label, and he put his album out right away. He did everything he had to do right away in order to keep hot. So now to the second thing that Gunna lawyer said. Love the street rules and dry snitch comments. Oh, the fake outrage. Same old-ish. Both were charged with RICOs. Both faced 20 years in prison. Both pled to a RICO. Regardless, I'm more than willing to accept the blame for a great deal. Now, there you go lying again, because Young Thug was facing life. He wasn't facing 20 years. Gunna was facing 20 years. So if Gunna would have sat in jail, he probably would have sat in jail, obviously, for 30 months. He would have probably pleaded out at the same time as Thug. And since we got a new judge, Judge Whitaker. Judge Whitaker would have looked at what Gunna was being charged with, and she probably would have gave Gunna a suspended sentence of 5 years, 20 years, 5 years suspended, and probably gave him like 10 years probation. So when he talking about the street rules, and this is one thing I don't like about like when white people come into culture that's not theirs. Now, I don't condone violence. I don't condone drug dealing. I don't condone none of that stuff, right? I'm a much older and wiser guy now. So I understand how this tear down and kills our community, right? But also at the same time, these guys are rappers and they entertainers. And Gunna was putting out an image that like we see the famous clip where Gunna rapping in a music video with Young Thug, where he said he'll take it to trial and he'll never snitch on his guys and all of that. So you can't have that and be doing all that posture and then get in trouble, and now you want to be a civilian. Now, oh, Gunna don't make that type of music. He make music for the ladies. Man, all these rappers fake. Don't nobody care if Gunna fake. And I mean, it's true. Nobody cares if Gunna's a real gangster or not. But you can't try to stand on gangster principles, then get in trouble, and now you not a gangster. You had nothing to do with it. You was just with YSL, the record label, and then get back outside, and now you acting like you never understood what you was saying you was and stuff like that. That's the problem. Now, if Gunna came out and said, yeah, I used to be a gang member, but that ain't my life no more. I used to rap about gang stuff, and I only did it for the music. But, you know, really, I wasn't with none of that stuff that they was with. We'll respect them, but obviously, Gunna trying to play both sides. He trying to keep up his street. He trying to keep his street mystique. Also, while, you know what, I don't even want to talk about Gunna no more. If you want to hear any more hip hop and celebrity news, click the subscribe button. Check out my original Chicago hood movie in the end screen, No Time to Play Fair.